Hey, hey, hey. So, all right. This one is gonna be a educational video. So if you don't want to learn nothing, you might not want to watch this one. But if you want to learn something, you're in the right place. So this one's about printhead. I don't need that part. This one's about printheads. I actually took it apart last night. Last night? Yeah, it was last. For me, it was last night. For you, I don't know when this is. Now, this is from the. I'm tossing stuff. I dropped it. I don't know what I dropped, but I dropped something. So, I think I dropped a screw. I don't know. I dropped something. Now, I'm going to talk about the printhead today. This thing. And this covers practically any Epson printhead. Because I pulled apart a Epson P900 printhead and it looks almost the same. So they're all works roughly the same way. So if you have an Epson, the printhead is probably going to work almost identical. They're just designed a little bit differently. So we're going to talk about printheads today. Again, if you want to learn, you're in the right place. If you don't want to learn, you might want to skip the video and go somewhere else. So, we gonna talk about printhead. I know I keep saying so and so and so and so. That's just my word. Everybody got like or mine is so or and. We're gonna do this today. So here we go. This is the bottom half of this. All right. I have to save this because I wanted to show you something on here. Very important to show you this piece. I know it don't look like much, but I have to show you this piece too. And there's a bunch of screws in here. I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. Yes, get my ducks in a row. So if you don't know what this is, okay, this little tiny black piece right here. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to focus. That little tiny, yes, I'm figuring out how to get my camera to focus on something and don't move when I have it in that spot. So that little tiny thing right here, okay, this is your paper sensor. Yeah, that little tiny black thing right there, that's a paper sensor. It's a infrared sensor that what it does is one side shines an infrared light, the other side picks it up. And on your paper, what it does is shine the light, the other side receives it. And that's how it tells. This is when the printhead goes across. This goes across, the paper comes through, and then this slides down. And then on that thing, I just lost the tracking. Let me turn it back on. So when it comes back, when the tracking comes back on, okay. So when the light shines through, it tells the printer that, hey, look, printer, there's a paper here. So you can start printing. And then this little circuit board, this entire circuit board is dedicated to that tiny little thing right here. Isn't that just amazing? This whole thing dedicated to that tiny little thing right there. So let me get myself back in focus. I just love electronics. It's like my kryptonite. Yeah, I know. My kryptonite. I love electronics. So, I know, I'm gonna say it again. I just love it. So this entire circuit board, the whole thing is literally just dedicated to that tiny little thing, and I just love it. I'm geeking out here. And that's the paper sensor. Okay, that's your paper sensor. Now, let me get it out of the way because I can keep talking about that. I don't want to bore you too much. Now, this is your, I don't know what Epson calls this. I'm going to call it your cartridge holder. All right, that's what I'm going to call it because this literally just holds your cartridge. It's not your printhead. It's just your cartridge holder. This is a printhead. That's the actual printhead. This just holds a cartridge, and then the printhead mounts to the base. Okay. So the printhead mounts to the base, but this just holds the cartridges for the inks. Again, this is for the XP 15000. the 8550, the dampers sit on top of this. It's just a different way to do it, but it's roughly the same kind of design. It's just designed a little differently. There's really not much difference between them. They just look a little differently. I think the box is a little bit bigger and the sides a little higher, or there's no sides at all or something to that effect. It's just designed differently, but it works literally the same way. Same way. Now, this piece goes on the back of this, and I'll show you in a second. This is going to be the last piece I talk about. So, this piece is the part I really want to talk to you about. So for every person who's wondering, and I keep telling you, when you get head clogs, okay, those little tiny holes is where your ink goes through. Yeah, you see how small that hole is? That's how small your print nozzle truly is. That's it. That's all it is. That's how small the nozzle truly is. And it gets smaller than this. That's just one nozzle, and there's another one right here. So there's two nozzles on this entire thing. So there's one here and then one thing, and I broke it. I was trying to get the whole thing off in one piece, but I couldn't get it off because it's fused. That's what this white piece is. It's actually, they fuse it to the back of this. And I just wanted to show you what the nozzles look like. Okay, that's why I showed you. So that's, let me get it to focus again. So that's one nozzle here, right? See, that's the nozzle right there. This little hole right there. That's a nozzle. And on the back side, this is a back plate. This is the side that the print head mounts to back. This side here. This side is the side that was fused to the carrier. All right, so this side like this fused to the carrier like so, and I had to break it out like I told you. So, and again, that's how tiny that hole truly is. See how tiny that hole is? You can barely see through it. All right, that's how tiny the hole is. And there's 6 of them. I want you to see. You can see the light through it, right? Yeah, that's that. And there's 6 of those holes. Now, let me. Oh, and that's one of my other words too. Now, here on the back of this thing, you get it to focus again. Here it is. So I have to see what I'm pointing at. So on here, I don't have a pointer. I should have a pointer, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should have a pointer. Let me see if we can find a pointer. Something I can use for points. Ah, I got something I can point at. So here we go. So these, as you can see, correlate with one of these chambers. Each one of these chambers have a run. All right, so the ink, and I really want you to pay attention to this part. See how big this mesh is? All right, on the back side here. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how big this mesh is, because all it does is pour out to the little tiny hole. I know you probably can't see it. Oh my goodness, my phone's going off. Somebody's asking for help. This is how tiny, and the hole is just right here. This is a tiny hole. This is right in the corner right here. All right. And that is literally how much ink comes through here. So see how big that mesh is? That's all is a little tiny hole. That big. Okay, that size hole is right up here too. And then it gets poured down this chamber, runs all the way down this chamber to this point, which then comes through this little tiny hole on the back end, which is this one where my finger is. All right, not the big one over here. This little one, this little tiny one right there, okay? So again, this is run down the chamber, and then it comes down to this little tiny hole right there. Because again, this piece will sit somewhere down here like so. And that's how this works. And all the inks run down these chambers. And there's a treat with this one. I didn't even know this was clogged until I ripped it off. So there it is. I want to show you the clog. That's actually a clog right there. See this yellow piece? That's an actual clog. I want to see if this camera will focus on it. But that's an actual clog right here. So the hole's right there, and then this is an actual clog. So no ink would have actually flowed past this point. No ink would have gotten past this point because that's clogged right there. So when you get the head clogs or your print head won't print anymore, sometimes it's not even the print head clogged sometimes. Okay, so you can shoe shine till you're pink in the face. You can shoe shine till your head break. You can soak this thing till your oh my goodness, till the cows come home. Because a clog is all the way back here. Okay? See how far that clog is? So I could do you can oh my goodness, I can sit there and tell you to soak that print head on a napkin, on a paper towel, on whatever the hell you want to soak it on. It will never come loose because the clog is way back here. Okay? And that's why you don't want to have these things sit for days without printing, because these pigment inks love to do exactly that. They just clog and they clog. And like I said, this is literally an inlet hole right here. That's the hole that this thing, see, the strainer, hole. So let me try it again. Strainer, hole, and then clog. Oops, it lose focus. All right, and it clogged right there. I hope that explained. I really hope that explained it. Hope you understand what I'm trying to. Hope you get what I'm putting down. I was geeking out yesterday. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I've got to show this. I've got to show this because I'm explaining clogs, and it goes shring over people's heads, and people think I'm lying or making stuff up. This is why when you get a clog, or you think you're getting a clog, it don't even make sense to sit there and fight with a stupid thing. All right. When people, this one person I was trying to help, and I told them, or not one person, actually a few people I was trying to help with printhead clogs. Yeah, there's a few of them, and I keep telling them, like, if soaking the printhead don't clear it, you just might as well just get a new printer, or just literally replace the entire thing. All right, most people tend to replace just this. All right, let me just replace the printhead. No, you got to replace the entire assembly, the whole thing, because again, the clog can be right up in these chambers. Okay, that's where the clog can be. The clog can be in these chambers. All right, and you can't get to these chambers. Again, I had to literally pry this stuff off. I had to rip this off of here. All right, as you can see, I broke it. All right, and you ain't gonna get that loose. There's no way you can get that loose. So when you get a clog, there's no easy way to make that come loose. So the other method I was coming up with were my hot water situations where I would keep telling people to use hot water. The hot water tend to help, and the hot water does make it come loose. It just takes forever to do it, and sometimes when you use hot water, it tends to melt, especially this stuff. All right, and that's why I don't like to tell people to use hot water on it. I'm gonna do some tests to see how bad the hot water will damage this stuff. Now that I have it apart, I'm gonna test to see how hot water I can put on here, because I know hot water will melt this stuff, but I'm gonna test to see how hot I can put water on here, and it won't damage it. Because if I can actually get that temperature right, then I'll be able to come up with a good method on how to clear these clogs. And we'll be cooking with gas. So whenever someone get a clog again, I can tell them exactly what to do to clear the clog with hot water. Because that's the only method I've ever come across that actually clear pigment clogs safely. Or not safely, completely. I've never used anything else that I've ever cleared clogs completely. It's just hot water. and it's just how hot water works. So you can imagine if you actually heat solution and then kind of pour it down, inject it, squeeze it, whatever, and it just melt that stuff away. So I'm gonna come up with a good method. I just don't have the time and energy, and again, I really don't get clogs that much anymore. Because truthfully, the best thing to do is to never get a clog in the first place. Now, so this is rubber. This is like really good rubber, so I don't think this will ever melt under hot water. But the problem I'm worried about with the hot water is this stuff, the electronics, especially back here. Let me try to get this in focus. This stuff, okay? This is the stuff I'm truly worried about with the hot water. See back in here? Now, with this thing sits right on top of here. Let me get it on. So it sits like this. All right, so it sits like this. Let me get this thing on. Give you a second. Oh, I gotta stop it to do that. Whatever. So this thing right here, this little pad, sits on the print head just like that. Now this seals on the back of this. When it has a plate on here, which is this plate, again this little plate, then these two plates seals together like this. Okay, it literally seals, and then this whole thing seals together like so. Let me try to line it up a little bit. There it is. It seals and then lines up like so. All right, so that's technically what it looks like. But then it has the two black plates that covers this whole thing up. The black plate that covers this up. And then it's like that. Sorry, my medication makes me yawn a lot. Like I feel like I can't breathe. Now, with this like this, okay, it creates like a nice waterproof barrier and seal for these gaps right in here. Because the thing is, this is also waterproofed. There's a coating on here to prevent water damage, I'm guessing. There's a nice coating on it. And I know what this coating is. I've actually used it before. When I used to work in this electronic company, I put the seal on electronic stuff, and it actually works good. It's like a marine grade water sealant. So it will actually protect from a lot of water sealings. But the thing is, how you get it off is that you actually apply heat, like hot liquid or hot something, and it comes off. So this is why I keep saying I have to figure out how much hot water I can put on here without damaging this, because it literally takes heat to get it off. Yeah, that's why I keep saying I don't want to put hot water on here, because I know these things have a lot of this stuff use heat to remove them. That's why I don't like y'all to put heat on these stupid things. It's just how it's just the nature of the beast. Now, let me put this back on. So with this thing creating a barrier, okay. So let me show you the barrier again. So there's a barrier, and you can see the holes for the ink to go through, right? And those are the nozzles. Right, these are the nozzles, all the little nozzles, and there's 6 of them again. Now those nozzles, with this waterproof barrier, it goes into here, and I can't get this off. I really wish I could get this off, but this thing is damn sealed, and I really should pry it off, since it's already just shot to shit already. But the reason why I can't get it off is because these legs are literally glued, fastened shut in this circuit board, so I can't even get it off. To show you the parts I really want to show you, because the good stuff is actually underneath here. All right, now it goes in here. It goes into this channel right here, and then these cables, literally activate the circuitry that's in here, and then it comes out to the print heads, which is the holes. There are holes in this metal base. Believe it or not, there's holes under here, and these holes are tiny. They are probably thinner than your hair. That's why you can't see them. Okay, yeah, that's my camera you're seeing back in there. That's how shiny that thing is. Okay, they're so small, they're thinner than a human's hair. That's how small these holes are. Okay, so that's why poor DTF ink clogs these things so fast. All right, and that's why you don't want them to sit. That's why you have it sit for over a day, 12 hours, 6 hours, whatever the hell it is, and you realize your thing can't print. Well, because these holes are so tiny, it don't take much for the ink to dry up in them. All right, here again, smaller than, take one of the hair out your head, hold it, and it's thinner than that. The literally just pull a hair out your head, and the hole in here is still smaller than your hair. All right, that's how small these holes are. And there's a bunch of them lined straight across all the way down, and there's six rows of them. To see them, you got to get a magnifying glass to see them. That's how small these tiny holes are. Let me see. Never mind. They don't go across. They pull down like this. There is 1, 2. Yep, there's 6 of them. There's one here, one here, one here, one here, one there, and one on the end here. There's 6 rows, and that's how they line up with these 6 rows back here. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they're lined up exactly the same way on this side. And then these electronics literally tells which one of these holes or pumps to turn on. So the ink comes in through the chamber here, and then it spreads across this plate. It's a plate. Spreads across this plate on here, right? And then based on the electronic signal that hits whichever one of these electronic, I don't know if it's a pump. I'm not exactly sure. I am not exactly sure how it actually physically works, because I've never actually looked into one of these things. But based on the electronic signal, it pulses the pump or the ink out of this specific nozzle or jet, whatever you want to call it, and it pumps it out. So this is why some jets fire but some don't. And this is why you have writing in one spot but not in another spot, based off how it's printing. And that's how you get all these colors printing, and you have your 36, give me a second. It's a 64? 64. Yes, 64. It's 64. It's that 64. If you ever look up CADLink and you click on the CADLink and you bring up that printing option, on the XP 15000 actually shows you. On the 8550 it doesn't. It shows you 34 and 64, and there's another number. I forget another number. 48, I think it is. Well, it correlates to these nozzles under here. All right. Each nozzle, it correlates to how much of these nozzles you want to actually fire, okay, or use. And if you count them on the back, you'll see that it correlates to, I think it's 68 nozzles in here. Okay, I'm pretty sure 68 nozzles. I'm not gonna count them. You can count them if you want to, and I'll bring it up closer if you want to. If you actually want to count them, it's about 38 or 68 nozzles in here, and you can count each one of these things, and you get about 68 nozzle total. All right, and it's 32. I think it's 32 across or 68. I forget. I'm not sure about the actual numbers, but it's somewhere in those ballparks. It's 30 something or 60 something or 40 something. I don't know. It's one of them numbers. All right, and that's what that's what the numbers correlate to right in here. All right, and it fires the nozzle based off which one of those things you choose. It either use 2 of them at one time or use 1 of them. So if you use a 64 nozzle one, it uses one nozzle. If you use a 32 nozzle one, it uses two nozzles when it prints. This is how you get your definition. When you're printing your 1440 by 720. Yeah, 720. Okay. It will use two nozzles versus one. When you use 1440 by 1440, it uses one nozzle versus two. That's how it prints. Okay. Yeah, you're learning. Like I said, this is educational video. If you don't want to learn nothing, you're far gone anyways. So this is all about learning, and this is how printhead works. The basics. This is not even the good stuff. How this actual circuit board is put together. How the cords relay back to the motherboard. How the fuse on here works. All this other stuff, I'm not even talking about that good stuff here. This is just how the basics, just the pure basics of how this printhead works and how it clogs up if you ever get it clogged. And the chamber, I did do another basic write-up on how this printhead works, and I have it buried in another video somewhere at the end of one of my other video on how to clear this printhead. And that's why I keep telling people, watch my videos completely. Oh, sorry, my phone going off. That's why I keep telling people, watch my videos completely. I have so much information buried in those videos. It's too much, and I can't keep telling y'all to watch these videos. Again, you don't want to learn nothing, you don't have to watch them. I'm not begging you nothing. I'm not asking nothing. I know this information. I'm having a great experience. I'm just trying to help you have a great experience doing DTF. If you don't want to learn nothing, hey, that's all on you. You do you. I'm just trying to help you have a great experience doing DTF. All right? So you kind of either listen to me or you don't. Choice is yours. You can skip past these videos, skip on and listen to the parts you don't want to. Again, I don't care. I'm trying to help you. If you can't see that, that's your problem. I'm not here to hold your hand and spoon feed you. I'm just going to give you information. If you want to hear it, you hear it. If you don't want to hear it, go listen to somebody else who give you shortcuts and wish you best. Wish you all the luck. That's all I can do. Again, I'm the crazy person here just trying to give you a great experience. And the ones who are actually listening are having a great experience. Don't believe me? Ask them. They'll tell you. But I can keep going on about this, and I don't want to. And I don't want to make this video longer than it is. So, on that point, you know the basics of how this stupid thing works. When I get electronics, I go like geek out on it. This is my like kryptonite. I absolutely love this stuff. All right, so
step up your A game, step up your A game.